16th, 2020. Did everybody have an opportunity to look over the May 2020 minutes?
Yep.
There it is.
Hello.
There's what we need.
Now we're golden.
Okay. So we're at the part about it, you looked over the May minutes.
Oh, I did, and I motion to approve.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All carried. Okay, we're under new business here, it's gonna be a little short agenda tonight, but the subject here is pretty important about our pool. I asked Josh, our pool manager, if anybody does not know Josh Mitchell is our pool aquatic center manager. He's been there now for, it's the 4th year? 6 years. Time goes pretty fast. That's right, you're right, yeah. So.
4, 6, yeah.
There you go.
No, it might be 5, it might be 5.
So what, basically, Josh put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I thank him, to get this, Casson Aquatic Center COVID, protocol together. If we open up a public place, of course, we have to have a preparedness plan. And, we did get some information from Stewartville that helped us, and Josh and myself had some of our own ideas of how we thought we could, do best here for our facility. And, we had to make a plan up, and we had to go with it because, I knew the council had met last Wednesday, and we had to come up with some type of plan, and I think we did a pretty good job. The council did approve it last Wednesday night, to open the facility, which was really nice. I did a couple interviews, Josh did 2 also, he was there at the time when the cameras came there. We told him not to put anything on air, you know, until we got the approval of the council, and,
They listened.
they did, yeah. So, but anyway, we, took care of that business and stuff, but, basically when you look down at, through this, whatever, our plan is to open this Friday on the 19th. We do tomorrow, starting tomorrow, we have, some lifeguard recertification stuff gonna happen at the pool from 7 to noon. And then after noon, I think they're gonna start doing a lifeguard class. The 10 people that, need to get certified for lifeguards are gonna start on tomorrow afternoon and then go into Thursday. So, Abby, Chosich is gonna end up putting that class on for both of them, so we can get everybody certified, so that's a good deal. Then comes, then comes Friday, and, we'll, open up the facility on Friday. Josh has taken our people that have been employed at the pool, he's, had them working, they've done a fabulous job up there getting things ready, clean. My maintenance guys, Corey, Chris, all the guys, Mike, all the guys had helped, Charlie himself, even Public Works Director helped. Got it all cleaned up, got it ready to go, so, real happy with that. Had minimal maintenance issue, we just had a sink that, had to have some parts, cause it must have not got all the way drained out in one of the family restrooms that we're getting at. Parts won't come for a couple weeks, but hopefully we can get it to work, whatever, we're kinda, making it work, hopefully we can on that. If not, we just won't use the sink in that facility. But as far as the pool goes, I think everything's worked out great. We ordered our poppin', food, and we have our ice cream all on hand, so I think we're in pretty good shape, for that. When you go through this protocol, really basically, we kinda break it down, for the facilities, if you kinda wanna go through that. I don't wanna go through each one of them, cause it would take a lot of time and stuff, but we are gonna be practicing our social distance up there for sure. And Josh has got that set up really well. And at the end here, I'm gonna have Josh kinda, talk a little bit what he's done, what his plan is, how the reservations are going, how everything else going, but I'll just kinda go through this quick. Staffing, whatever, Josh felt that we, needed 10 guards, 5 inside workers, and 2 site supervisors on duty when we need these shifts during open swim from noon to 3:30, 4:30 to 8.
That was on Wednesday. We're probably closer to 7, because we need extra cleaners for in and out of the bathrooms about every 20
Okay.
minutes, so.
So that might change a little bit, we might go to 7 inside workers, whatever. because we do have to, make sure that we do keep the facility clean. So, signage, Josh has done a fabulous job on that. He's went and got the signs made. He's got all the social distance signs on outside the fencing. He's got that all set up. He's got, we didn't wanna put anything on the floor. At one time, we were thinking about putting, dots or something on the decking. We figured dots, whatever, all over on the floor, probably wouldn't be very nice in the facility. So we kinda did the best we possibly can, and I think it worked out really well. Hand washing and sanitizing stations, we did order them. They're 2 weeks behind on hand sanitizer stations. We are gonna make do. We have a company over in, West Concord that can get us some hand pump things, and, Josh will distribute them and put them throughout the facility so people have an opportunity to make sure they sanitize their hands when needed, and stuff like that. So as far as making sure that we have that on hand, we definitely will have that on hand. Once the permanent ones come up, we'll mount them to certain places of the facility where people can come in and use them, okay? Another
Are
thing.
those, excuse me, but are they secure?
Yeah, they will be.
Okay, because, yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as these hand ones, the 32-ounce
Yeah.
bottle ones, they probably will not be secured in the facility itself. I know people have a tendency, they wanna walk off with things. And we're gonna have an issue like that also too down in the ball field, cause we're gonna have to be required to put them in the dugouts, and I'll talk about that later, but basically, we're gonna do the best we can. Their suggestion, Tigan Paper and Supplies, suggested to the Sturville pool, keep them as close as the windows as you can, cause that way people always think that someone's looking out the window to watch it. So we'll have to figure something out.
And just let people know there's cameras there.
Right, you know, so.
We, even if they don't catch them, they'll at least keep an eye, you know,
Right, right.
sometimes that's just enough to.
I just asked because they had to secure the ones down at our work facility.
Really?
Literally got them in a little container with a lock on them.
Oh, wow, and ours are just sit around and nobody cares.
Oh, they were walking off.
Put them in little squirt bottles if people wanna use them.
It's almost to the point where sanitizers become a lot more readily available too.
Yeah, you can get it
So,
just about anywhere.
where now we've got it, it's now becoming it's not like it
3
where
weeks
it
ago.
wasn't, or
Yeah.
a month ago where you couldn't, like the toilet paper craze,
Right.
you know, where you couldn't find anything, so.
As far as the hand washing, we got that taken care of. As far as the sanitizing, there's stuff like, spray bottles and stuff, we got, surface cleaner too, all set up. Josh has got spray bottles set up for the workers, he's got that all taken care of. As far as, the inside guards are gonna be cleaning certain things, handrails, ladders, da-da-da. And that's why we set up the sessions, whatever, 2 different sessions, so we're gonna have at least a good half hour, a little bit more to do some cleaning and disinfecting. We also did buy a fogger for the locker room facility, or any areas that we feel that we need to fog, and what that is, it's a disinfectant fog that you mix, 2 ounces with water, which fogs the area, and it's on contact, so it sets for 10 minutes, it disinfects it, we don't have to wipe anything off. So it's kind of a nice deal with the showers and everything else on the side, so it works out real nice that way. Emergency stuff, whatever, Josh did a great job thinking about personal protective equipment. We got masks supplied for our inside workers, we'll have masks supplied for people outside, getting reservations or taking reservations and marking them off the list. So everything else looks good there. Our pool schedule, we're back down to that. Pool schedule, as you can see, we are gonna, utilize our lap swim in the mornings. Lap swim will be 6:30 to 8, so we will keep that Monday through Friday, at $3 a pop for people to use that. The 8:30 to 11:30 large group swim time reservation, I'm not gonna go through this, I'll let Josh talk a little bit about it. We have our open swims from noon to 3:30, and then we have our open swim sessions from 4:30 to 8. Okay, we will not have swimming lessons this season, okay? Memberships, we won't offer passes, of course, we talked about that, it's just gonna be daily passes. We went with $5, I know we made a motion to go to 6, but we went with 5 because we did cut the hours down to only 3.5. So that's the reason why we went with 5 this year for open swim sessions.
So you're gonna still be booked to purchase, or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yep.
so that'll be reflected to $45 for
Right.
them?
Correct.
Right,
Yep.
45 and 90.
Yep.
Which is,
Yep.
I've had that question, so I went, I gotta ask, 'cause I don't know,
Mhm.
'cause this has all been fluidly changing.
I didn't know that, or how many booths do we have? We're gonna sell a lot of those.
I know.
Yep.
That's why I was asking,
And
'cause
she's
a
got
lot of people have been
them, and if
asking.
we have to reorder, we can reorder.
And I've
45
talked
for-
to,
For 10.
7 and 90.
And it's
90 for
90 for
20.
20. Yep, we give them a little discount on that part of it.
basically like 450 a ton.
Should we, well, are you trying to offer it at a discount?
We've always have offered
Yeah.
it. We've always.
But not 90, 85?
I thought it was 85.
For 20?
Cause that's the same deal as a 10-pack. It's still one free pass, isn't it? No, it's 2 free passes.
How much is it for 10?
45, so it's $4.50 a pass.
Okay.
So
we-
10 is $50, so we offer 45.
45.
So
And for
20 would.
20 would be 90.
90.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Yep. So, offer 10
I just,
off.
okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure that was known, because
Yep.
people had asked, and I said, I ain't sure, so I wanted to verify it for her.
So if somebody comes in, they want a book, whatever, that's what we would sell them.
Well, we probably shouldn't sell 20s, then we should just sell all 10s, cause
Yep.
are you sure that's not?
It's only $5.
Right, but I think there was an incentive to purchase 20 rather than 10, so it was like an
That got
additional.
changed a few years
That
ago.
got changed 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Might as well rip them all, and just sell 10s then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cause we can spread those out further.
So anyway, that's the situation as far as the memberships, I mean, daily things. Parent talk time, we've set that up for a Wednesday, 3-hour session and that'll be on reservation, it'll be $3 per person, that's including $3 for the adult, $3 for the kids. And Josh pointed out, and I pointed out, we have to make sure every person that enters that facility must pay, even if they don't get, whatever, so it is what it is. Large group swims set up for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll let Josh talk
That's
about that.
changed, it's all booked, it's just whatever's left for the weekend days.
Right.
Yeah.
7 days a week, session 1, and session 2, times are noon to 3:30, 4:30 to 8. Down there is the reservations, I'll let Josh talk about that, he's the one that kind of set pretty much all the reservation things set up. Signage, we're gonna go by the CDC guidelines, which Josh has, and everything else, food and drink, the concession stand tables are all set 6 foot apart, 4 persons max to each table, so we've done pretty much our homework as far as what everything is going, so I think it should be good. Big thing is here, we are gonna get questions, we are gonna get complaints, or we might even get some thank yous of us even opening. But I will say that Josh, I think, is equipped to answer anything, and myself is too. And I just know that if any questions get resorted to you people, please, if you don't have an answer, I would say resort them or tell them to call the pool.
HassonAquaticCenter@gmail.com.
Yes. Okay.
I have a question right now.
Yep.
On your signs on the back, it says number 3, you can't use the locker room restrooms, and you can only use the family restrooms, but it says if you use the outdoor restrooms, you can't get back in.
Yeah, now
You-
That's changed since
that's
Wednesday.
changed since then.
Okay, 'cause I was gonna say you're gonna have a tough.
Fogger.
Okay.
I wasn't sure that, like, I can, there is a updated version out there that we've kind of been adjusting, but I also haven't looked at that since we presented it the first time. The bathrooms are gonna be open. We are encouraging everybody to come to the facility change, because that is in the guidelines that were written. We realize that might not be the case if we do have someone making a reservation from 45 minutes away. Johnny and Jimmy aren't coming in their swim trunks with mom and dad
Right.
because they're stopping for lunch and whatnot, so that, beside the point. If people come in, we're gonna give them the locker area to do that. We also just, it's hard to social distance in the locker area. So the reality of what we've accepted is that we're putting some trust in our patrons to social distance in the locker room. We've done some things to help that out. We've zip tied those lockers shut inside. We just would rather not have people congregating by locker spaces, especially when we're all leaving at the same time, because I do think people are gonna utilize all 3.5 hours of their reservation time. So we are gonna have an issue with people leaving, but at that time, everyone's following the same doors. We have 2 exits, it'll be fine. Point being, we've zip tied those, and we're gonna use the outside lockers as far as the storage space. We also don't provide locks, so it's kind of not a highly utilized thing, other than sometimes storing a icy that somebody might be saving for later, and then they realize it melted in 32 seconds, and then it spills all over the locker room floor and clean it up. That's, it's saving a lot of problems, but it's also keeping people out from inside of the lockers.
Well, the only one I was just concerned was when they said if they had to use outdoor restrooms, cause the family was gonna get too busy.
Right.
People gotta go.
Yeah, we were gonna have them change in the public restrooms when we initially had said
Okay.
that we weren't gonna let them use the locker, or that they had to come change. We were gonna have those all blocked off, so then we truly only did have 2 restrooms
Okay.
for everybody, and that's also a capacity issue.
Yeah.
When you really look at it, if you have 4 or 5 people that need to go to the bathroom, you
And
already have a line.
they wait till the last minute.
Right.
That was my concern, that was my.
So they'll be allowed back in essence, no one, back in.
If they went out quick to use it, if they had to, and.
We're gonna hope that they don't use the public restrooms for
Right.
that reason now,
That's
because
why
we have all of the bathrooms
in the
available.
locker rooms
Yeah,
are open.
so long as they're available inside, that was my concern.
Yep.
I
So
think-
that also saves our headache of having to check people in and out if they're coming in,
Yep.
because now it's gonna be, you're in, and it's not a readmittance policy kind of thing, it's, you're in the facility. Because when people leave, if we do have people, residents of Casson that are in the area, like, our kids will get to know, the kids that do come to the pool all the time, will get to know the timing of things. The reservations are up at 90 minutes. The reality is, some of the reservations may not fill, so we might know that we can get 4 or 5 more cash customers in based on our
Mhm.
capacity numbers, so. There's plans in place for
And
that, so.
The first, I'm sure you all know that your first week or so is gonna be a little learning experience for staff and public, where people are gonna leave and then, I thought I could get back in, they might run out and.
Yep.
So I'm sure you guys are gonna encounter some of that, and
Right.
I'm sure it'll be a fluid
Right.
learning experience for all involved.
It will be,
You know, and hopefully the public will understand and the staff will understand, and we'll just.
Right. We know that, Casson residents, do pay taxes here, they do, pay for the pool itself, we understand that point of it. So, when we made this reservation situation, I think Josh will explain everything, basically what we kinda did, and why we did it, and how we're doing it. And, so far, I think it's been working pretty good, so go ahead, Josh, explain what we did with, the reservation point of online.
Okay, so each day has as many reservations as I can allow online. Each form is limited to, I believe it's 50 Casson residents or 50, I didn't have any of this prepared, so you're kinda putting me on the spot. There's a number for Casson residents and a number for general admission for people from out of town. The only check that we have within that form is that they're giving us their address that they're submitting, so it's kind of a little bit of an honor system, but there is spots assigned for Casson residents every day, and there is spots assigned for general admission. Hopefully, if we do get full of Casson residents, you can still obviously have a general admission spot, so there are spots where people that are Casson residents, I can see, have already moved into the general admission tab and taken a general admission spot, which is perfect, because that's what we had kinda talked about, was it gives them both platforms, they can click on either one and they can be in either reservation group, so. They have availability to something like 220 of the spots that are available every day of the 260. Because both of those reservations are available to them immediately, the same as they're available to everybody else. As far as limiting that or governing that, we don't want to hold all of our spots for Casson residents, because on those days that we have people coming in from out of town and things like that, and we don't have people coming in, from town, we have the ability, so a couple days before that, this is kinda confusing. A couple days before the reservation closes, I can adjust the numbers, whereas if we have a full section of Casson reservations, and I don't have the general admission session full yet, I know that there may be Casson residents out there that might be interested in those days. I can open those back up for 5 to 10 spots, knowing that I haven't filled them with general admission spots. So there's no way for a Casson, like, all the spots are guaranteed for the Casson resident. There's no way I'm gonna take from the Casson resident pool and put it into that general admission spot. So there is a set number where we can have our residents come in every single day. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Good.
Sounds a good system.
So every day there's 4 reservation forms out there. We have, like Ronnie said, there's 2 sessions. There's 4 reservation clickers out there on the webpage. I'm trying really hard to get as many spots to have links to this new webpage that we're building via Google. It's changed on the Google search bar, so if you do check in on our location, it takes you to that site for reservations and information. It's still a work in progress, everything's not in there yet, but we're gonna eventually post all of our signs that we're gonna have posted in the facility. There are some checks and things that go along with the reservation that you're gonna get an email back that says, you know, please check on our social distancing policies before you come in on your reservation. We're leaving it up to people to go in and say, like, and see that there's things like our towel rule. We're gonna try and push that people respect people putting out a towel on a chair, they respect their space, like, whereas in the past, it's never really been a problem, but it's kind of a free-for-all. Now it's kind of like you're setting up an area away from everyone else, so we are giving them that. We're gonna have signs posted all over that we hope people respect that, and we're gonna limit it to 2 chairs per family, because even if we have 50 families in our building, we can probably find a section for them if we had an emergency in the water where they can be separate from everybody else. But we also don't want people bogarting 12 sun chairs because moms wanna watch the kids, you know? The reality becomes if they're smart, they figure out that this is my group pod and they're allowed 2 chairs, that gives you 6 feet in the middle of those 2 chairs to put out Johnny, Timmy, and whatever's towels and set up your own space. I know Stewartville's took all of their furniture out and they're bringing in, their own chairs and stuff like that. I think that's a nightmare. And I think the way that we have things set up, you're welcome to come and drive by and take a look. You can see from the road, it's spaced out very well. It's indicated very well that we don't want the chairs moving. It's also set up so that when they do move, because we're realists, things are gonna happen. Parents aren't gonna listen, we're gonna try our best, but when we do need to put things back at the end of every night and at the end of every shift and session, when we sanitize the chairs, we have markers and indicators to make sure that they're, again, 6 feet apart. We have practiced that guidelines. We have marked up the floor a little bit. This may be news to you, but we did put a few simple orange marking tape lines down to indicate the foot of some of the chairs that don't have a fence line behind them by the funbrella area. Those are all gonna be sectioned out so we can get as many of them in that corner as possible. One other thing is that I put 5 of the chairs, I think, or maybe 6, in the roped off funbrella area. We're gonna really push that. I'm actually gonna get an online reservation out there for that eventually. But $50 a day in the current climate that we're in, $50 a session would be a really cool little bump to add on, and then you get your own area, 5 lawn chairs, 2 picnic benches, and you can have that funbrella area for 3.5 hours, so maybe we'll utilize the situation we're in to push and promote that a little bit. We're not gonna rope off the other 3, we're gonna let people set those up as camps, but we are gonna keep the one section roped off, and, you know, if there are, I'm just talking in advance, if there are complaints with that space being not utilized, then it's $50 to utilize that space. I do think there are gonna be people very interested in that, to have their own area, but that's, I could be wrong.
And then mention a little bit about the slides, what we thought about doing.
You wanna talk about?
Yeah, maybe like how we spaced it out.
The
so
whole,
people wait in
the line for the slides are we've adopted a laminated sheet of paper with some zip ties mentality here because it keeps us from damaging any of the concrete. It's been, it's very bright, it's very colorful, it's a lot of signage, and it is what it is. But we are gonna try and zip tie spots 6 feet apart on the stairs. We're gonna ask kids to follow those rules. We do have in place for at least the first couple of days, staff to make sure that they're sitting there making sure that that's going on. I think if we sign up that well enough, we might not have to police that hard, because we have up to like 46 spots, I think, if it absolutely fills up. Well, that's a reality of the pool, though. We do have a line of 50 people waiting for that slide every day, so we do have it stretched out and as far as we can go, and the lifeguard at the end will try and corral the ones that don't have a spot in line and do their best, so.
The other question I had too, in the past you've allowed pool floaties on Fridays, that's not happening this year, or is it?
Hasn't been a conversation that we've had.
No, we haven't had one.
We've been focusing on a lot of other things.
We didn't even talk about family night or nothing.
Okay.
The reality becomes, we did make some policy changes to the lifeguard, or the life jacket policies, and we offered up time when the life jackets could be used in the water as well as the floaties and things like that. I don't think that it needs to be a focus of ours, but I do think we could do it in the second session. The max that we can have in our pool is 260. The only question, like, that I have is like those big floaties that are platforms. I don't think we should have kids climbing on those together, because technically that's out of the water, and that's not socially distanced, even if you're sitting next to them, because we're operating on the fact that when you're in the water, we don't have to follow these social distancing
Right.
guidelines. It's okay for me to roughhouse within the guidelines of the pool. I can play around with my buddy and everything's fine. But once we get out of the water, now we're worried about having things spaced out so people have an area to be away from people. So, I think that we can, allow life jackets in the second session for the most part, because even still with the ones that are filling up, but the reality becomes we could make that life jacket policy probably through both because of the capacity, because the idea was when we approved it was that if we don't have more than 200 some people in the water, that the life jackets would be okay. So, that being said, I don't wanna set a precedent in the future to allow that during our busy times, but in the environment that we have right now with 260 people, I don't think we're gonna be telling people to take off their life jacket. We will probably tell people not to bring in their giant floaties, that's kind of it.
I just get so many questions,
Yep.
so.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta ask.
I think the no toy rule is still a pretty beneficial one for
Oh,
us.
yeah.
It makes lifeguards' jobs very hard when they're diving for rings and things like that.
Mhm.
And I do think that we have, in the past, been very good about when it's safe for those things to be offered. We have a few of them to offer at the pool, and we do offer them. It'd be really easy to drop some diving rings into a bucket and throw them out there sanitized, and then throw them in the water and let kids play with them, if that becomes something that I can do. But I don't know if that's something I can do right now, so. I think life jackets are okay, is my initial jerk reaction to that, because I haven't even put it on my thought process, because we've been working on a lot of other things, so.
Another thing to touch base on, Josh, is the morning rentals for the groups.
The morning rentals I initially had the idea that it would be cool to be able to bring in a daycare of 45 and a daycare of 35 and a daycare of 55 from another town, and then they could have an area set up to themselves where we can kind of socially distance outside of the water, but in the water they're okay. That has since kind of blown up, not in a bad way, but we have our local daycares that are very interested in using our pool. So what we've done is we've got 2 days for JLH, 2 days for Project Kids, and then that middle day is really kind of a no-break kind of thing, because we still do want to offer tot time for parents. Tot time's cool now, it's gonna be 3 hours, we can open it up pretty much all the way. I think the slides will be able to stay open all of the time. Parents kind of fell in love with that once we offered it a few times, might have been a mistake, could be genius, I'm not sure. But we will have the slides and at least that side of the water open, and I haven't figured out a cap for that yet, because I haven't figured out staffing and things like that, and I haven't seen interest to the form yet, so. There's a lot of people that wanna swim, these initial reservations are filling up fast, so we will have a good solid week to have an idea of what capacity looks like in our pool every single day. I'm worried that it's gonna be like that not worried, I'm excited that it's gonna be like that every single day for the rest of the summer, but I do think there is some reality to it that it will slow down a little bit, and there are gonna be slow days at least, where if it's not the nicest out, we're still gonna have those days where our staff can breathe a little bit, we can go over things, we can adjust things, we can figure things out, so. I think we got a good setup, involved. We're a little worried about how we clear a pool if we have to get everybody out of the water at the same time. But we do plan on utilizing both pools, because we do have separate filtration systems, where if we do have a problem in the activity pool, anybody that's comfortable with sliding into that deeper water can go swim there. We'll have more lifeguards there, because we'll have to close off that section, because there are things that happen that we have to close it down for, to check and investigate to make sure it's sanitary and things like that. It happens. So we do have plans in place to kind of corral kids, but the reality becomes we have to focus on hoping that people realize when we are out of the water, we're 6 feet apart. You know, if I put 40 little kids, this is a bad example. If I put 20 little kids in a section of concrete as a lifeguard, we have to hope that they can put their arms out and stay away from each other for 10 minutes while we check chlorine levels and make sure it's okay to swim.
And Josh also is gonna utilize the PA system as much as he has to.
We're gonna run a lot of voice
Yep.
messages that are gonna be scripted so that the kids are comfortable reading them. Hopefully it's not my voice all the time. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of signage. For every spot that there is on the inside and outside of the facility, 6 feet apart, there's gonna be a spot for us to zip tie some more signage above that. We're gonna put wash your hand signs in the bathrooms, obviously. We're gonna have our specific COVID compliance signs that kinda have our top 5 things to realize, and, we hope people read that, understand that, and try and follow them the best they can. I don't think they're out of bounds as far as expectations. I'm a little worried about the concession system. We are kind of preparing on the back burner an order system where if we get backed up because the line is so long, or because our line has been so long in the past, where we only have 6 or 7 spots. If it's a lot of people coming in, a huge influx at one time, we're gonna tell people that it could be up to a 20-minute wait for a pretzel. Not that that's truly it. I use that number because that's been our wait at the Hubble House. It could be a 10-minute wait for a pretzel because we're gonna take a bunch of orders at once. We're gonna mass run, 12 pretzels, get them out to the people that have pretzels because they have a number at a picnic table, and we're gonna run it like curbside in that way, or like a server would at any restaurant. So, I'm nervous about that a little bit, but I think that's something that we're really gonna need to see what the ebbs and flows look like, how much of an influx of people are gonna be wanting concessions, because we don't have the breaks anymore. We used to have to be prepped and ready for bear at 1 o'clock with as many things as we could sell because the whistle blew and nobody had anything to do for 10 minutes. Now we're trying to keep them in the water, and hopefully we see people that see there is no line, hop into a spot and grab a snack. But if they see that there's 6 people in line, they go right on the slide for a couple more and then come back and hop in the spot when it's open. We got plans in place. I'm not sure how it's all gonna look, but we do have plan A and plan B. I haven't worked on C yet, but that's probably when I call Ronnie.
But I think Josh did a great job of putting everything together, and I compliment him for doing all that, and I think it'll work. Like you said, it's gonna be, this first week or so, it's gonna be for trial, it's gonna be tested, and I know that we'll get our phone calls, it's just an automatic, we know that, but, we'll answer everything we possibly can, and, who knows? The governor, like me and Josh talked, maybe by middle of July, you never know, he might go to 75%, or he might go at the end, all of a sudden say, okay, you guys can operate at 100%, and everything that way. We still would do the social distancing thing, but still.
We truly have to have obviously we don't know what the future looks like, but when that happens, we'll have to have a conversation because we're staged and plumb ready for 50% capacity, 6 feet apart.
And that's it.
I'm not sure what it would look like if I had to let 400 people in and try and social distance in
Yeah,
that moment.
and it could be tough, but.
But we are, as far as I can see, within the guidelines compliant, and, we're looking for the public to help us out with the whole process, because it's new to us too, but I think for the most part, people just wanna get out, and I think we're gonna have, a customer coming into that facility that wants to stay there and follow the rules because they're there and it's awesome, I hope.
I think the biggest thing that we're gonna end up with is that people are gonna be upset they can only swim 3.5 hours.
Yep.
They're used to going the whole day.
Yeah.
That'll be one of the biggest things, but it is what it is.
We've been saying for years that we're not a daycare though, so.
Right. And we gotta make sure that the facility is kept somewhat clean and disinfected, and it's the only way to have it.
For the most part, the majority of people are gonna understand. You're always, no matter what you do, you're gonna have a select
Mhm.
couple that are not gonna be happy, and
Right.
so you can just do the best you can, and
Right.
We're gonna have, within the form, within the reservation form, we'll have emails, to try and keep people from coming long ways if we call for weather or things like that. That's always been a communication thing, it's always been tough. We plan on any cancellations going directly on this website. We're hoping to train everybody to go into this site because that's where they have to make their reservations. First page is gonna be, we're closed today because there's lightning, or however that works. It used to be our mentality as a pool to keep that thing open as much as humanly possible. Now the reality becomes if we have an hour and a half of a storm within a session, we might open at a limited capacity for locals within our town because they're the only ones that can utilize it for that 2-hour segment, if that makes any sense. Like if a storm passes, we're not gonna have a our influx of people from Rochester that are gonna drive for a 2-hour segment of swimming. They're either gonna come to that 3.5-hour evening segment or try again. We do have that cool option, whereas if we keep it open with the same ideas that we had before, where we're always open, we might get more of our Casson residents, more of our pool kids that are always there every day, that might not get to do that this year because we don't have the available spots. We have spots available. That's one of my bigger worries, was making sure those kids had a spot to come swim too. So we do have a lot of spots, not a lot, but enough spots for those walk-up little swimmers to get, or not little, I don't know how to explain it without using the term that we use, pool rats. The pool rats that are between the ages of 9 and 12 that ride their bikes up to the pool, and they are our customers that have that independent single membership for the year. I hope we can find enough spots for them too, because those are the kids that are really excited to come swim. So there are about 20 spots walk-up available every day. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, any questions for Josh?
This reservation thing,
Yep.
They come in, they sign up for the first session. Is there anything stopping them from immediately turning around and signing up for the second one too, so that kids can stay there all day long, or?
They can, but the facility's gonna clear for an entire hour. There won't be any patrons in the water or in the
Right.
facility, so if they do there's nothing stopping them from making a dual reservation.
Just
yeah.
they gotta find something to do for an hour.
For an hour.
Right.
And
Okay.
some might go
Pay the
home
fee
and come
both-
back.
And
Some-
they'll pay the fee both times they
Yes.
come in.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Which, still money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
No, congratulations. Such a short period of time. A lot of work.
Thank you.
A lot of work.
We're almost there.
You guys still gonna have your crosswalk guard up there on,
That was on my list of things to talk to Ronnie about today. I think with our traffic flow to the pool without having to cross, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna time up people that are there cleaning early on these daycare days. I plan on just sending a crossing guard to help them cross there. I'm gonna get them mixed up. It's just like home, that's
Just
They
like
come
on
to
Main
the
Street.
Northwestern neighborhood.
Project
right,
Kids.
so they do a pretty good job. Project Kids might like us to be there at the crosswalk
Yeah.
to step out there, and we can time that out because we know when they're
And
coming.
that's in the morning, yeah.
Yep, that's just in the morning. As far as a crosswalk goes during the day, I haven't planned for a staff out there yet, but
That would mainly be
I
at the
would.
beginning of the hour, wouldn't it?
You're gonna need at least somebody there in the beginning and at the end,
Yeah.
'cause that's the number one thing is we want safety for our children in this
Yeah,
town.
people don't wanna
The
stop.
noon and 3:30 and then the 4:30.
And people will not abide that just
Or
'cause
that
there's kids there.
person might know.
I know it's gonna goof up your staffing, but I would highly
bring
recommend
on
it.
another person. That's all I'll have to do, because I can't take from anybody that's got a job, that's fine. We'll just need to bring on another inside worker to have it into that rotation.
Don't
It'll
you
work
think
out,
most
it'll work
people-
out good for the kids.
If you've got the
that are-
reservation, you'll be there
Yeah,
right
be
at
in that,
noon, so
yeah.
you would only need maybe a half an hour right around
Yeah.
that noon time.
Half an hour or so
And
to
then-
an hour just to make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another one of those fluid things, you're gonna have to play it by ear, but I would highly recommend having.
You wouldn't have to sit there all day,
Well,
but.
if we're sending them out, if we're gonna put a guard out there for part of the time, it just makes sense to have them out there then, so.
Okay.
I think, cause we want somebody there, even for North Park, if that's the reality of, we want kids
Yep.
to have a crossing guard, we should put somebody out there, and I'm okay with that. I might even be able to work it into the lifeguard rotation. I could maybe give them somehow, because of the lack of breaks they have, if I can work that into, yeah, I can, that's easy, that's not a problem. We can put a crossing guard up there. Probably not right away in the morning, other than for the daycare, but it'll probably be its normal noon through maybe commute time at night.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
noon through 6 probably.
I think it would be money well spent on
Good.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
So staffing wise, all lifeguards that you had, scheduled on are pretty much still online to go?
Everybody was pretty excited. We only had a few kids that just decided that they either had found a job or they didn't wanna work in the pool anymore for whatever reason. I didn't really delve in. Most of the staff came back, yeah. I even have a text here, bring back another, that was initially got their paperwork in, said that they weren't sure how they felt about it, and actually came up here and walked around and said they're ready to go, so.
And my question on that was, I had a lot of people that applied at the store, as younger kids, which I don't know hire a lot of young kids that, you know, they were, or would have been a lifeguard,
Yep,
or worked at the pool.
yep.
But knowing at that point they were unsure, they just needed a summer job and were looking for something, so didn't know how many of those were.
Maybe 5 to 10, I suppose.
Yeah, I heard the number was really high that
Mhm.
came back.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was
that's good.
shocked when I sent out the email, the form response filled up very quickly with, let's do this, so.
Good.
Our initial
Good.
first roster was like 62, and how many we got now? Josh? 50-something?
55?
56 or something, so that's not bad.
That's good, okay, that's good.
That's
Yep.
what I thought I heard.
We don't have as many activities to compete with. I am a little nervous as the summer progresses, how some of our activities within the schools, not even just athletes, even activities where they can get inside and do things. There's a lot of, part of the reason all our kids are really awesome employees is they're all really active and busy doing stuff too, so I hope we have enough to maintain through that, but it is really cool that they all want to come back. Any other questions about the pool? Aquatic Center?
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming tonight, Josh,
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh.
There is just, absolutely, there is just one thing that I wanted to add just for the sake of adding it. I'm really hoping that we can get our clothing in by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the reality became that they're very understaffed where we chose to go. And they did set up an online store, we did get all of our orders in as soon as we could. We are gonna be having some of our kids wear KM gear on the side of the pool, and they are gonna be employed with us, and it is what it is. I'm gonna ask them to be as professional as possible, obviously, but if you have a KM football, basketball, baseball, choir, band, whatever, if you have something school sponsored to wear, I'm gonna promote that if we don't get our clothing order in on time.
Cause it was like July 7th is what,
What's that?
July 7th is what we were told for our clothing, from when we ordered it.
I'm
That was-
hoping Friday.
Okay, then.
I'm hoping Friday.
Well, that was when we put in the order immediately, when it was sent out by the supervisor, my daughter.
Oh, right, sorry, I just wasn't thinking that way. If the information they told you was that, I have separate information from my rep at Rambo.
That's fine.
That he's gonna push really hard to get it FedEx to us by Friday, even middle of the
Okay.
day, he said, so. But the reality is that, the guy that I initially contacted and had the store set up with at the beginning of this process, through the COVID things that were going on, had left that job and is now
Oh.
superintendent at a golf course. So now they have a lot of people that they're trying to bring back in because the influx of business is coming back, and I think they're stressed. So I hope that they get it as soon as they can. I've had personal phone calls with them, they're very good there, so I just hope Shane does that for us. Yeah, so if that was the date, if that's the date, that's the drop dead date, so now I know how I can press
I
him if he doesn't get it
can,
done.
I can verify that
Yeah,
before, but
okay.
that was, I'll check my email now.
No, it's all right, I believe you, I really do, I just think he.
Cause we were surprised of that date, but then the pool's opening, cause that was the first question my daughter goes,
Right.
so now what am I doing at the pool?
Right.
But she's coming tomorrow to do her orientation, so then.
Gotcha. Well, today's orientation, they got a full-scale idea of how to clean around the pool. We did utilize the kids that came in to train, we had jobs before we even went over the protocols, because we were able to spread them out and get them rolling, so. Facility is very close, it's clean, we've got it as close to, as nice to as we can right now. We have everything spread out, we're gonna get it all in its place, a little more signage to get up. We're gonna have spots everywhere for people to know what's going on. The reality is, some of the kids don't read those, so we have to make sure we're verbal with things as well, so it's gonna be an experience. I think we'll be all right, though.
I was wrong, it's July 10th.
Perfect. That's late. That's late. I don't think it'll be July 10th. If it is, we have conversations between them then, so.
No, I'm just letting you know, cause when, you know, when we, as the council was proven to open the pool, working with the park, I'm like, so she ordered immediately when that came out, and we're like,
Sure.
July 10th, that seems like a long ways into the season for new employees. I mean, your
Right.
old ones have
Old stuff to use.
old stuff to use,
absolutely,
but you
yeah.
have the new ones that are coming in, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
said, I'm sure they're on it, but.
And our kids are pretty good. I know things change a little bit with our environment that we're in now, but like, I think kids will borrow lifeguard gear if they get into that situation too. we have kids that are pretty good at working together, so if I need a medium tank top for the day. I
Oh, and
can-
this wasn't, it. This was just normal concession.
Right,
work.
and that's even, you know, we're not necessarily really worried about that because she's in the spot where she's doing her job and nobody's gonna be confused about that. I'm
Yeah.
worried about
The life-
separating the lifeguards from everybody
Okay.
else for sure.
Okay, so maybe they'll push harder on that stuff than the others too, but.
They are gonna push harder on the bright t-shirts, but he also said that the reality is that you pay, buttload of shipping if you do 2 runs, so he's gonna try really hard to get them all together.
Okay.
He said Friday was an option, it's not not the best option, you know, he didn't wanna give me too much false hope, but I'm hoping,
All right.
baby.
One more.
Perfect.
Yep.
You know,
So everything you got set up, it's ready to go, the government's into this, is there anybody from the health department gonna come and just check anything maybe a month down the line?
And
or
I don't know if they would.
I'm anticipating the health department coming and
They'll
doing that
check our
normal
water
check
chemistry anyway.
for the normal pool
Yep.
policies,
Okay.
so.
Yep.
I think we'd be very prepared for that, and I also have, you know, the form that addresses each, CDC guideline point,
Okay.
so. Hopefully, we have everything addressed if anybody wanted to come point a finger, so we're ready for that,
Sure.
so.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
Good.
Sweet.
Sounds good, John.
All right, I'm
Thank
gonna
you
bounce.
again.
Sounds
Yeah,
good,
thank you.
thanks for
You
coming
bet.
in.
I brought this just in case.
Yeah.
You let me know whenever we decide that we don't have to wear masks inside, cause I'll be ready to promote that as well. Thanks, everybody.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Night.
So, with that, whatever, like I say, I mean, I think it's gonna, lot of work, believe me,
Yeah,
a lot of work.
But there'll be a lot of happy people, 'cause
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Friday and Saturday are already booked, by
Yes.
the way.
And like me and Josh talked before, I mean, this might even be the plan next year, you never know. You
It's
just
booked
never
right
know.
now.
Yeah,
Both Friday and Saturday, the only 2 dates they put out are full.
yeah,
We looked this afternoon.
yeah. So like next year, who knows what's gonna happen, this social distancing could be with us for a while, it really truly could, so we'll just have to go from there. The last thing I wanna talk to is that, I mean, Josh had said that we probably should recommend, we did, for the morning group rate, instead of charging $250 for the weekend rate, we charge the groups like Project Kids and, Just Like Home, $200 to come use that facility. So that's what they'll have for $3, so we should make a recommendation to the council to approve the $200 rate. Our normal Saturday, Sundays is still $250, so we gave them kind of a little bit, a little $50 break.
'Cause you know they're gonna fill it.
We know they're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
fill it, or.
And their residents, the
or-
majority.
Right, or, to be honest with you, there could be days too that Maggie and Marlo said from Just Like Home, he might only have 30 kids someday. You know, but they still gotta pay that rate no matter what, the 200.
That's the weekdays?
That's weekdays during the morning,
Okay.
okay? So, we just need to recommend that, have the council approve it, and then, we wanna make sure that's all set in stone. And then we should probably make sure that we make a recommendation for $3 per person also for lap swim, $3 per person for parent Todd. Okay?
I'll make that recommendation.
Okay?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All carried, so that should really take care of all the cost, right? Should be good, right, Jan?
I think so.
Okay.
So you'll add that to next Wednesday's
Yep.
agenda?
Yeah.
Now, even though we're gonna be collecting the $200, but it is, we just wanna make sure that we
No.
got it set in stone.
Well, that was even at Wednesday when we approved. I brought up the price, 'cause I had read through the
Yep,
packet that said $5, and I knew at the Porkburg we talked $6, so I just wanted to verify it with council.
Right.
That we're all on the same page at the
Right.
same time, so there was no questions of,
right, so,
that was, you know, it's sometimes just clarification and
Yep.
simple questions or
Yep.
saves a lot of headaches later.
yep. So anything else on the pool? I think it's pretty covered, I
I
thought.
think so, I think it's, you
Okay?
guys did a really good job of getting everything lined up and rolling and
Mhm.
in a short amount of time.
Yep, so I think we're in good. Dodge Center is, by the way, I talked to Mark Barlow, we are opening Wednesday, next Wednesday. Dodge Center is, Byron's gonna open, I don't know what day they're opening. I heard possibly not till early July. I know that Zumbrota, and the Pine Island new pool, that's up for grabs. I talked to Todd Robinson over there, and
They're having staffing
problems
issues.
with staffing issues, yep, and, so they don't know about that. I know Waseca's staying closed, Owatonna's gonna open, Rochester's staying closed.
Mankato's opening now.
Yeah,
Mancato's
McCrescent
opening.
is opening.
McCrescent, so there is, and St. Charles is opening.
Yep.
I've seen that too, so just to kinda give you an idea, Spring Valley's opening,
Stewartville, obviously.
yeah,
So yeah, Pine Island and Zumbrota, they're having an issue with staffing because.
Yep, because they didn't get certified,
Yeah.
yep.
There's gonna be hassle to get to Stewartville, 'cause they're gonna close it because of the overpass. And then they're gonna start with a one-lane road, so it's gonna be a hassle to get down there. That won't be completed until October, so I don't know about people going to Stewartville.
Yeah.
You know, they might just decide to come
Well,
from
they might-
Rochester to here,
But they might get out of, yeah,
you know?
Okay, they're even doing, I know, construction on Highway 30, I know too.
that whole intersection
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
30 and,
Yep.
is shut down, you
Shut
can't.
down, yep.
Oh, that up.
How about that little pool in West Concord, are they gonna?
I don't know about West
Anything on that?
Concord yet, I don't know about that. I know, I think Andrews is still,
Yeah, I
Linda's
think
still in
she still
charge of that
manages
yet.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
So anyway, good, so that was Aquatic Center. We'll go to softball quick light just to let everybody know what's going on there. Of course, we have a guidance for social
Mhm.
distancing for adult sports. That is part of the state plan, the COVID-19 plan. We haven't been able to, have any organized sports as far as games go, until he went to phase 3. Phase 3 now is gonna allow, some games to be able to go and play and participate under certain guidelines, where I have the guidelines sent to me from the state commissioner, Perry, and I'm gonna type them up tomorrow, and, so that at least every manager will have to give them to or go through it with their teammates to let us know how we're gonna be able to have an 8-game season here, starting next Thursday night. So I'm gonna put out there, I did get a hold of the teams, I think we had 11 last year, I think 3 are not gonna play because, other commitments for the players. But I did get a hold, and we will have 8 will participate on one field. It will be North Park number 1, closest to the Aquatic Center. I will not open the concession stand down there between the ball fields. If they need something to drink or eat, they can go up to the pool and use the outside window on them evenings. There will be 4 games, so they'll start at 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, and 9:30. Entry fees, I went half on everything, 'cause we're gonna have half the season. So the city's gonna be $150 per team, and Festival in the Park's gonna get $87. So it's gonna cost the team $237.
So still gonna do one during the festival, even though there's no festival?
Yeah, I'm still gonna make sure
Okay.
that the players pay for that, because that's still a good thing for our festival for next year, I think.
Sure.
So,
I just,
yep. So anyway, that's kind of the entry fee thing. I had to get that kinda set up in a hurry, 'cause I gotta get it all out, and I wanted to talk to it and give your guys' approval, and we still need your approval to go on to the city, council for next Wednesday. But I'm kinda, there's not enough hours sometimes to get all this done, so I gotta do the scheduling, and I gotta get it sent out, and I gotta do this COVID plan. They also too, I talked to Perry today, I called him directly, 'cause I had to order the team materials, he's gonna send it in the mail to me, so, he'll give me 8 sets of books and materials that they have to have. It's $15 a team, per team, that we have to send to the state to be sanctioned, and then an $8, shipping fee that we gotta add on to the players', thing, so it's really not that expensive. Then we're all sanctioned again through the state, so we'll have to get that papers out, and I gotta sign them and send them up to him. Once we get that done, then I'll get the 8-game schedule. We're not gonna have no playoffs. We will start next Thursday. We will have the 2nd of July off because of the holiday. Thursday night, people usually go camping or something, 'cause the 4th lands on Friday. And then we'll go all the way till the 20th of August.
4th is Saturday.
Friday.
yeah, Friday's the
But
3rd,
Friday is the holiday.
Friday's the 3rd.
but
Yeah.
it's still classified a
Still-
holiday for,
Yeah, for some people,
For
got
some
off.
people,
okay.
Yep, yep.
maybe not all.
Yeah, So anyway, it'll be an 8-game season, so we'll go to August 20th, okay, and then that'll be it. We'll just declare whoever wins the league with the best record, it's just the way it is. So I don't even know if we'll get trophies yet, it's just something I haven't decided yet, but for a champion.
I would say if you're not gonna have a playoff, don't do a trophy.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
You
just
know,
gonna be.
'cause always there's somebody's gonna say,
Yeah, the
where's-
guys wanna play.
Where's the tiebreaker? And it's
Right.
like, well, tiebreaker could be one run, it's like.
They just wanna play to play.
They wanna
It's not
play.
about a trophy, I don't think, as
No.
much as it used to
They
be.
wanna play, they wanna have something to do on a Thursday night,
Yep.
so that's
And-
basically
and
what it's all about.
Social gatherings.
Yep. So, and then on that COVID thing, basically Perry told me this, you give them guys the guidelines, you give it to the managers, you set the dugouts up that we like to have at least a hand sanitizer in each dugout. So we'll prepare something down there where Kevin, our umpire, will get the scoreboard out for North One, and he'll have, and I'll keep his hand sanitizer pumps and stuff in the concession, so when he goes to ump the first games, he'll set them in the dugouts in these, areas that me and Chris are gonna build for, and onto the dugout. They will be told that hopefully when they come from the infield, from the outfield, that they wash their hands, 'cause it's the ball, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it'll say not to touch your face. That'll be hard, because you're gonna sweat, and you're gonna do whatever, but they're still gonna have that, guideline, the CDC set up, so this is basically what they have to do in the Minnesota Department of Health. So, Perry said as long as us, as a community, set them guidelines and give that to them, then it's gonna be back into their personal, what they need to do,
You
social
just
distance wise.
have every manager sign that they got them.
Yep, and that's the truth. And then, as far as the dugouts, as far as when they're in the infield batting, they prefer to keep at least, if there's 12 teams, 12 players on the team, they like to have at least no more than 6 in the dugout at a time. The other 6 can stand outside the dugout and try to keep the social distancing. That's kinda what they're saying, okay? So that'll all be written into these plans and these guidelines for playing ball. Now, as far as the youth goes, I don't know. I know that Cass and Maryville Girls Softball Association set their guidelines up too, and I know that they're starting to practice, and haven't heard anything yet from April. They're gonna start to have games up at the East Park. I don't know yet.
They're having games, I just don't know when.
When?
But I heard.
Okay, so I haven't heard anything back from her yet, but I do know that they have
Unless
their
I
own.
misunderstood.
Yeah, she sent them guidelines to me, because Mark Matuska required them to do that also at their facility at the high school. So, everything is kinda based on them guideline stuff. So, we will not make any little money on our concession, but we will be making money at the aquatic center for food and whatever going on at the concession for the players. And I will let them know that, and when I send that, I'll type that in, that the concession won't be open, but utilize the aquatic center.
Gonna be limited there for now.
Yep, exactly, yep. So, that in turn, any questions on the softball or anything?
Still got a pop machine down by the concession stand?
Yep, but I won't fill that, 'cause it's expensive, and then if
It
it
is.
doesn't get used, yeah. I
Well,
got the
with all
one
the
by the
players
park.
down there,
They won't be in, 'cause they'll be at North.
that's right, you're right.
They'll be at North.
You're right, they'll be right next to the
So if they just
concession.
gotta walk up the hill a
Yeah,
little bit
you're
to
right.
go get whatever
Okay.
they need, they can get that. Okay, does that sound okay?
Yep.
Okay. So, can I have a motion for entry fees, then for adult softball at half cost for $150 to the city of Casson, and $87 to Festival Park?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Good. Which brings us here to old business or correspondence, and, this one, is pertaining to Jason Bonsworth. He has not came to any of our meetings this year. And we do have guidelines, set up for park board, that if you miss more than 3 meetings in a row, it says in the guidelines it's an automatically termination. Correct, Jan? So, I don't like to do that, because it's hard to do, because I know it's a volunteer basis, and we want to have people's input, and you guys all have done that. But we also know that we'd like to get another spot. If someone doesn't wanna be on it, we need to fill that spot.
Just like tonight, we started a meeting and didn't have quorum quite right away for a couple minutes, so.
I texted Ronnie.
Well, the thing is,
I don't know,
most
do you
people
feel that?
let somebody
This is,
know
I'm on my
they're
way,
not
it's
gonna be
like-
here.
Yeah.
We haven't even
5:59
heard from
is-
him.
Oh, I don't know, I was just getting off forklift, the truck came in, so.
Jan kinda looked back, 2019, what did he have, Jan?
He came to you had 9 meetings last year, and he was at 4 of them. He went to January, or the February and March meeting, and not again till November and December. And now he hasn't been to a single one this year.
Yeah, he's not
He's not
interested.
committed anymore.
No.
So,
He's ready, it's right there when you sign up, I mean,
it
you
is.
gotta read it, it's there.
It is, and you know, things come up, we understand that,
know,
your
I know.
job, Roger's surgery, you
Yeah,
know,
oh,
dealing with
yeah.
stuff, and we understand that point. But, I mean, I also would've liked to have Jason just give me or Jan a call on all of our things, please call Ron or Jan to let us know that you won't be there.
Mhm.
But Jason's never called me,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
he's never called Jan. Now, I know he ran into Greg down at the hardware store.
A couple months ago.
Yeah, for something, and said that he wasn't gonna make it, but
He
that's
didn't
kinda.
say why, but
No.
he just said he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be there.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he's with his daughter, and he didn't say it was because of the COVID.
Right.
It was just, he said he wasn't gonna be there, and I don't know if he had commitments with his daughter, or. I
Which is
didn't know.
totally understandable.
Just, he
Yeah.
wasn't
And it
gonna
is.
be there, and that wasn't my position to ask why. He
Right.
didn't.
So like I say, I mean, with regret, I hate to say this, but I think we should probably just move forward on with maybe putting someone else on the board. I don't know, I think if we have to send a letter to Jason, we can, and,
Well, I highly recommend it, just to
Yeah.
let them know
I
that,
think we should.
thank you for the past
Sure,
service, and we're
sure.
sorry, but we've,
yeah, we just gotta move forward.
But
and
based
another
on
member.
your attendance over the past 2 years.
and in according to the guidelines, and
Yep.
put that in there.
Well, city ordinance.
According to the ordinance, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
And just say
Yeah.
we really
Yeah.
appreciate your time in the past, and.
Well, and what I'd do, I'd offer him the opportunity to, okay, here's one last chance.
No.
No,
No.
it's, cause it's moved on to the, where
Okay, so has he been talked to then yet about it? Has
He
anybody-
signed up, he knew the guidelines, and, it's just like the fire department, if we miss 3 meetings, we can be the same way. We
City
used to.
council's the same way.
I mean-
Well, and if that's the way that the board works.
And that's
I'm
what
just
the
looking from a.
That's what the ordinance says, if you miss
Okay.
3, it's not, you could, it says
3 meetings without cause.
without cause.
And it says advance notice should be, given at City Hall by noon on the day of the meeting. And like I say, other people give me I won't be there, like Liza, she said, I had a class that came up tonight and she couldn't be here, but.
Or someone texts me or
Well, as long,
emails me.
okay, the only reason I'm saying that is, okay, here's your opportunity, we're looking to, fill your position back on the board, as the recommendation is, the point where we're gonna ask you to step off, unless you know that you're gonna be here for the next 6 meetings.
It's summertime, it's just busy.
And let him respond saying, nope, I'm good, thanks, I'll step off, and then you move forward. Devil's advocate, I'm throwing this out is because he's gonna say, okay, so I missed more than 3 meetings, and he's gonna go around this board, and he said, okay, I wanna see what if they're,
Attendance is-
say myself, and they're probably, they were, I missed 3 in a row.
But you called.
But I may have had a cause.
But you told somebody.
But he's gonna say that I wanna know who missed it, and did they call it or did they not? I can just,
Oh, I know what you're
I
saying.
can
yeah.
see him come and say, well, if I'm off, then Janet shouldn't be here because she missed 3, but did she call in and prove that she did or didn't? Not saying he's gonna do it.
No, I know what you're saying.
This is just the
It's
small
probably
side of reason to
just-
say, you can't ask
Just to be
me.
nice, we could do that, and he's gonna get upset and say,
Well,
oh, I'm not
if
coming
you,
then.
he's gonna get
So
upset if you
it's-
say, by the way, thank you for your time, but you're now off board.
I guess, we can give him a
Versus,
chance.
here's one more shot, here's a letter.
But he has to attend the next 6 meetings, or he.
Without missing it, or he will be off, so.
You miss 1 more, you do not come to the next board meeting, you will not be on
Or you
the
give him the
board. We're not
opportunity to say,
giving
yes, I don't mind, I will
opportunity.
step off. It's a matter of wording it politely and kindly.
I suppose we should, but you gotta word it somehow that he's gotta be at this next meeting, and if he misses
Right.
any more, he's done. If he
Right.
misses one after, if he comes next month and misses August, he's done.
Correct.
You
But you're
know,
giving them
but
the
you
opportunity
can't-
to understand, it's like, yep, you know, maybe this time for you to go out, thank you for the letter, I'm okay. Then life goes on for us. But you also have to.
You can, but.
But on the
you
other
don't have
hand,
to
if this
either.
is the ordinance and, you know, there's always somebody that
I
can
guess I didn't know
challenge,
that was the ordinance.
you know, I missed 3 and
Personally.
somebody else missed 4, so why are they not here? And do I need to have cause or reason?
But I think it says consecutive,
Yeah.
so you might have missed 4, but one
But you
month
have
you
to-
were on
Well, or,
2,
but I also
or-
probably said I will not be there, so, and this is a case where,
Yeah.
who's
3
to say it was-
consecutive absences without due cause. And, I mean, when you don't let anybody know, so you have absolutely no idea,
Not
to
one-
me,
No.
that's.
This year, nothing.
and I'm agreeing with you guys, but I just wanna make sure, you know, you don't wanna
You're
part
gonna
it,
piss them
you
off
don't
no
wanna
matter
part it
what.
wrongly.
You're gonna piss them off no matter what. That's
I
all there is to it.
don't know if he'd be mad.
I don't
He'd be-
think
He'd be mad if
Yeah,
you
well, maybe not.
didn't
but-
give an
So-
opportunity to respond.
Maybe we go to the route of, if you're saying, you know, a simple phone call from Ronnie to say, or Jan, are you gonna keep coming or not?
Or the
Here's the
chair.
situation, you missed
Or
a while
the
ago.
chair.
Or the city
Right.
administrator.
Someone, just somebody, call him, city administrator
I'd-
maybe,
I'd ask
that'd be
him.
perfectly fine, 'cause that's his,
Yeah.
I'd say, you know, the board has discussed, we've looked at attendance, we've seen you missing. We want to have quorums, and we're struggling to get quorums, we have that problem on other boards. What is your intentions?
Yep.
And he can say his intentions are to come, but then he doesn't come still.
Well,
Then-
but,
So then he's
But
done.
then, put on notice that you have missed and the
but
board
based
has.
on his history, the next time you do miss without,
But you don't have to give him the 3, 'cause you can.
Right.
He's missed 6 already this year, or 5, how many we had, whatever,
Six.
6. Was- So, I mean, you could just
yeah,
say.
here, yeah, and I would say,
We're
give him the
gonna-
opportunity to say, yeah, I missed it, I should be there, okay, you know.
So then he comes
Take
forward,
off,
then
or-
come again.
You know, I'll give it my best effort at that point. If the best effort isn't good enough, then we can cause a tie to,
And then, you know, there's something that we can talk to administrator about, and then the kid can still go to the council too, and they can discuss it too, further.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily our decision, obviously.
Yeah.
But knowing that.
Cause that'd be a recommendation to the council, still up to council to
Yeah.
decide.
Right.
Have you ever come across a situation like this before, Ryan?
No, not in 32 years.
I think so.
I guess
Let's see,
my
I've been on here, what,
recommendation is
21, 20?
to say he's
So-
done.
Or
Take it,
23?
send it to city council and.
His term is up in December,
Yeah.
so I don't know if he really cares anymore.
Yeah.
And on the other side, like I said, and I'm just saying, it's probably worth a conversation with him
Mhm.
to say, yep, not a problem, I'll be happy to step off, and he'll be happy with that. But if you don't give, it'd be like myself, I'm also like, what, I didn't even get a phone call, and now I'm.
Now I'm off? Yeah, I know what
off.
you're saying, yes,
You
makes
know,
total sense.
What is that all about? You know, you guys couldn't even do that?
Do
It's
you-
like, I think we all have that right.
Do you wanna talk to Tim there, Ronnie, and just see what his opinion is, and maybe he can call him?
Because it is about, we do need to have people here that wanna have a quorum. I did have a gentleman that, he looks at our meetings or he watches the video. He was in the store, I don't remember his first name, but somewhat decent customer, Castle resident, says, you know, if there's ever a position for the board, I'd love to be on that board. I said, well, there's an opportunity, as we talked about Jason last month, that there might be somebody coming off, and I said, there's another gentleman on the board that's, you know, got a little sickness, so he's dealing with some stuff. I says, whether he can continue or not, I says, there's gonna be positions, and he said, I'd love to be there. I said, pay attention to what you do. In fact, he sometimes tells me about more what's going on, you know, than me reading the notes if I missed a meeting, so. I said, yeah, I said, just walk up, I said, come up to City Hall, I said, talk to Jan or one of the gals up here, put your name in.
There's
And
an
I know I
application
should do
about
that, so I don't know if somebody came up here,
Application
but,
on the website.
I said, just, you know, go up and just say, if it, you know, if anything opens up, I'd love to be on the park board.
Gotta apply for it. That's one thing, Jason never applied for it, he just kinda got appointed to the mayor.
Yeah, and that's
Mhm.
another,
Well,
well, I think
that's-
he deserves the right to be, given the
But
option to
yeah,
say, you know, you
for
haven't been
sure.
there, based on this, be willing to
According-
step off, so because we have some other people that probably have the opportunity to be here every time, and we need to have that quorum.
And
And
I
the
would.
mayor is the one that appoints everybody to the board.
Yeah, but you're supposed to apply. I
Yeah.
had to apply. You don't just have the
I
mayor
agree, but I
appoint.
mean, it is, still comes down to a
The other thing
mayoral
is,
decision.
he's
Yeah.
already on it, so that's passed.
Yeah,
You
I know,
can't go back.
I
to
know,
the
but
past.
it should be also then, if Tim does not reach him, and he leaves him a message, and he doesn't call him back.
Then he can bring it to the council at the
It's-
council level.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know? He
Sounds
doesn't
good.
come back within 3 days, then he's not interested.
So
So
I-
basically what we'll do is that I'll go and I'll talk to Tim about this and then see what his input is on it. And then we'll have Tim contact him and, Jason can let him know if, he's not interested or if he is. And we'll go from there. And if Tim comes and calls me and says, well, Jason's not gonna be, well, then we'll look for getting somebody else on. And if Tim talks to him, we are gonna recommend to the council that he makes the next remaining six meetings the rest of this year, correct?
Yeah.
That's what our goal
Well,
is.
that's the intent, because that would be,
Excluding emergencies and.
Excluding
you know, and
emergencies or
there's,
something
and
like
you
that.
don't know when you can get
But
called into work, there's.
please give us a call.
Yeah.
Let us
And he has to notify us,
notify us.
At least he has to notify us of something.
but.
Okay, I'll talk to Tim
Right.
tomorrow on it, or whatever, so. Other than that, you guys, anybody else got anything?
What did you come up with, the guy in Decorah for the wall? Did he?
Nothing yet.
Oh, really?
I haven't spent any time on that. I know that I gotta contact him, cause he's gonna have to give me a price for the new caps on the top. And, I haven't done anything with that yet. I don't know if the council's even talked anything about the wall, have they?
No, we're just waiting, and we knew with the pool opening and
Yeah.
everything that,
Yeah.
and
we
then
need to
street
get,
repairs and park work, we knew that was gonna get sidetracked, we
Yeah.
we
So
totally
we
understand.
need to get some stuff going back on there and figure out what we gotta have for cement on the north side of it and get a price of that, which I can get that. And then we'll just have to have him give us a price for the caps and then get a whole total price and then bring it back. So,
'Cause I
once
know-
the pool gets going, then.
Then you
all
got other
gets
time,
going.
yes. And,
Then
you know,
then I'll feel better.
And I just know on the council level right now too,
Right.
with the budget and everything that's going on with the cutbacks that's gonna come from the state, we gotta figure out if that's gonna even fit into the budget, feasible right now, and we gotta figure all that out. Cause we gotta make sure we're spending the money, I mean, cause they're talking, they want potential, they want the levy down to 0%, and to do that, it's gonna be really hard.
Yeah.
You know, cause remember, we're gonna have the reduction in LGA, and we've got the extra cost in COVID-19.
Yeah, property tax. that
And
could be-
property, so there's a lot going on, that's.
We're paying a transit tax here in town already, so, that
Yeah.
I don't agree with, but
What's that?
Sales
that's
tax.
not a transit tax. If you
Extra
go to
sales
Erdman's, you're
tax.
paying it.
That extra
Go to
half
Harbor
a
Hank,
percent.
anybody
Yeah.
that collects sales tax in
Yeah.
Dodge County,
I didn't
that
know
went
that.
through 2 years ago,
Mhm.
an extra
Half a percent.
0.25?
0.5.
What's
Like
that, the
Half
county?
percent?
They don't tell you that, they just put it on there, and sometimes they
But
don't
that's
tell
the
you what the
county.
title
We
is.
We don't
That's
have
not
to
the
break it
city.
out.
Yeah,
No, it's the county.
somebody
It's the
did,
county
and
doing it,
that's how
just
I
like
got
the
it.
county had an extra wheelage tax.
Right.
Yeah,
That was a meeting that come up with Guy Kohlenhofer, and I think 4 people attended that meeting when they had this tax thing. And 3 said yes and 1 said no, and all, for the basis of it, was what I was told, the county roads that are lettered, not numbered, don't get funding by the state for repairs. So if you get, County 9 gets it, but
C or whatever.
County K doesn't, so if there's a bridge washed out, it all comes out of taxes and township money, and there's no funding, so this extra